Hi everybody, it's David Porter, and today I want to talk about victimology and some reasons why crime victims do not report their victimization. Criminals count on their victims remaining silent. Habitual criminals, violent offenders, have a worldview, a mindset, which is highly entitled. They believe they should be allowed to do whatever they want without any consequence, and may be outraged when their victim reports the crime. I've heard the very derogatory term cop caller. Oh, that guy's a cop caller. She's a cop caller. A very derogatory term for victims of crime who call the police. Again, this reflects the mindset of I should be able to do anything I want to whoever I want without any consequence. You also have, I've heard this one, or different versions of this, snitches get stitches and wind up in ditches. There is a very prevalent mindset among habitual offenders that you do not ever inform on your criminal associates. Now, here's what I've observed from 22 years of talking to criminal offenders. Everybody walks around saying snitches get stitches and wind up in ditches. Don't be a rat. Everyone walks around saying that, but here's what happens when for most people, when the pressure is on, when they have been caught doing something they shouldn't have, and the police are offering them a deal where if they turn CI, confidential informant, wear a wire on someone that is a listening device, and gather intelligence on other criminal activity, they'll get a walk. Or meaning all charges will be dismissed, or the charges they're facing will be substantially reduced. Their criminal culpability will be reduced. Here's what I've observed. Most people, when they are the ones that are the center of attention for criminal activity and they're facing a long sentence, they're going to do anything they have to in order to take the attention off of them. They're going to hand over anyone they can think of without even blinking. They're going to make shit up that other people didn't even do just to sweeten the deal a little bit. I've seen that much, much more often than people holding firm to their values of don't snitch, don't inform on your criminal colleagues. And remember, there's a pretty vast witness protection program for a reason. Why else don't offenders? So one reason why victims do not report their criminal victimization is very straightforward: fear of retribution. They are fearful of retribution. They think that and they may be correct, if they report their crime, if they are a cop caller, they're going to face retribution from not just the offender, but from the offender's associates. You also have people who just have a prevalent sense of futility. Why bother? I was victimized in some way. I was robbed, I was burglarized, I was assaulted, my property was vandalized, my car got stolen. Why bother reporting it? What good will it do? These are people who have no confidence in the criminal justice system, in law enforcement, or they had confidence in these systems at one time and then had experiences which caused them to lose their faith, so to speak. So another reason victims don't report crime is they just have a sense of futility about anything being done. Reason number 3, I believe we're up to, is your own hands were dirty. You go on the dark web and try to hire a hitman to whack somebody, and the hitman turns out to be a con man who takes your money and absconds. What's your plan at that point? Are you going to go to the police and tell them that the hitman you tried to hire robbed you? I actually know people who would do that. I actually have known people who have poor enough judgment and are so distorted in their view of reality that the answer is yes, there are people who would do that. Or you're selling drugs. You're selling drugs. You have cash, you have firearms, you have drugs in your home. You know what you are? You are an awesome target. And don't be surprised if at some point you are the victim of of a home invasion, and you are robbed, you are assaulted, you are bound, and your money and your guns and your cash are all stolen. This is another reason why victims don't report crimes, because there are much more participants than victims. And the fourth one is shame. And typically we're talking about sexually based offenses. Many sexually based offenses, let's call it what it is, child molestation or rape, it's not reported. It's never reported. The victim holds the shame and the trauma for life, and they don't tell anyone. They don't reveal it to anyone. They hold it as a heavy, heavy secret, which they carry everywhere with them, and it weighs them down. And everybody, here's the yet another important thing to note. Sexual predators in particular rely on shame. They rely heavily on their victim's shame. Whether they predate on children or adults, they are going to heavily shame their victim and blame the victim and make the victim so full of shame and guilt and self-contempt and disgust that they won't report their crime. They use this as a means to avoid detection. And here's something else that it's well established, but it's not widely spoke of. Men can be victims of sexual assault as well. Many boys are victimized by sexually predatory men. Many typically young, weak inmates in correctional facilities are victimized by the more aggressive, stronger inmates, or groups of them. And something else that is not widely acknowledged is that men can be victims of domestic violence. And a lot of men will not admit that they got a beating from a woman they outweigh by 100 pounds. This is also an opportunity, considering why victims do not report their own victimization. It's also an opportunity to think critically, apply some critical thinking to crime statistics. When you look at the Federal Bureau of Investigation's annual Uniform Crime Report, you are not going to find information on all the crime that's committed in the United States. What you're going to find is information on arrests made by participating departments. The Uniform Crime Reports, for a quick refresher, involves participating departments, participating jurisdictions will submit their arrest statistics, and the FBI collates and crunches all the data, and they produce an annual document, the Uniform Crime Report. Now, what is wrong with this picture? A lot. First, emphasis on participating jurisdictions. A lot of departments do not participate. I believe, last time I checked, and it has been a while, 18,000 departments nationwide, and that includes everything from NYPD to state police to federal agencies to sheriff's departments to small 4-person, 6-person departments in rural areas. There's no requirement to participate. It's voluntary. So you're not getting all the arrest information in the United States. You're only getting it from participating jurisdictions. As we've already said, a lot of crime goes unreported for the aforementioned reasons. So not all crime is reported. Police have a great deal of discretionary power about what they pursue and what they don't. So not all reported crime results in arrest. Or they pursue the suspects very vigorously, but they are unable to make an arrest. That happens too. Cases don't get cleared. The other way that this applies, and I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, is the sex offender registry. You go on, and once again, anyone can access this. It is not privileged information. Anyone can Google sex offender registry for your state and then narrow it down to your city and see how many registered sex offenders are in town. This does not tell you how many sex offenders there are. It tells you how many sex offenders got caught, not all the ones still operating. It tells you how many of them were successfully convicted of a sexually based offense, not the ones who pled out to a non-sexually based offense, so there's no obligation to register. And it does not tell you the ones who have absconded, meaning they have left the jurisdiction without permission, they have changed address without permission, or they have provided false information. So it doesn't give you an accurate read. Most crime statistics are going to be way, way off, and again, this unknown figure is referred to as a dark figure of crime. So those are just some things to consider regarding critical consideration of crime stats and some reasons why victims do not report their own victimization. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe and be safe.